Oh, I had a question and then I had another question, and that question overrode that question, and now both questions have gone. Um, so, hello and welcome back. I am delighted today to bring to you Jonathan Newport, and Jonathan Newport is from Team Teach, and he has been fundamental in developing the Team Teach reach across the world. And I'm very excited to bring you more information about what they're doing out here. So, welcome, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm very well, Louise. Great to be talking to you.
And you. So tell me, Team Teach, okay, is it teacher training? Are you helping teachers to do better at delivery of subjects? What does Team Teach do?
I think Team Teach fundamentally is about giving teachers a level of confidence and competence when they're looking at behaviour in the classroom. And around the world, around the globe, behaviour is going on in every classroom. And it's all about understanding what that behaviour is. We believe that all behaviour is communication. So, what's being communicated through the behaviour we see from children and young people? And also, what do we communicate through our behaviours? So our training is all about thinking skills. It's all about understanding on that premise that we are trying to interpret, trying to puzzle solve all the time the communication that we're getting from children and young people, and then giving people skills in terms of if there are situations where a child might become anxious, distressed, and they need support, how do we best support them? How do we de-escalate situations rather than escalate them and make them much worse? What is it that we can do that has a real impact in supporting those children and young people? So fundamentally, that's kind of the essence of it, is giving that confidence to teachers so that on a daily basis, the training that we deliver has an impact in the classroom. And we've been really fortunate because we kind of monitor that. We do surveys with all the staff that undertake our training, and we see significant shifts in people's confidence levels. You know, we do it on a scale. We do the confidence rating before training, then post training, then 3 months later, and we see confidence levels increase from those who are, feeling like they're seven or more, 7 out of 10 or more. We see like 40% of staff feel that way. Once they've done the training, we get 90% of staff feeling that way. So, it's a massive shift for people in terms of how confident they feel in the classroom.
How important do you think it is as a teacher or a classroom practitioner to be reflective around their own behaviours?
I think it's fundamental. I think if I've learned anything in the 30 odd years I've been involved in education, I started as a primary school teacher. And I think you just have to be fully conscious that the moment you are in the room with the children and young people you're working with, you are like a barometer. They're watching you all the time. They're looking at you, everything you communicate from, we think too often that it's our words, but actually children are watching our body language and more so our facial expressions. And so they're trying to work out all the time because we're designed for connection. They're trying to work out how we are and what we're giving off in terms of the signals that we give out. So to have an understanding of what you bring is really, really important. To understand just on a simple level that how I feel today is going to impact me in the classroom. So if I've had a bad journey in, if I know that I've got a meeting later on that I'm not looking forward to, those things are going to impact me. And then another level is if I've got things going on at home, issues with my partner, issues family wise, anything there might be, that's going to impact me as well. And then deeper to that is the things in me that from my upbringing, from nurture, that will have impacted me. And so all of those things, all of that is in me, and I bring that into the classroom. So you have to have an awareness of that, there are days where you're not feeling great because you're a human being, and
Mm-hmm.
you take that into the classroom. And that you have to have an awareness of that. It's really, really important.
And so some people might interpret that as therefore the unwanted behaviors that children give to us is therefore our fault. But that's not what we're saying at all, is it? We're
Oh, no,
saying that
no.
the children are also bringing their stuff into the classroom
Yeah.
and they're not equipped to cope with it. And
Yeah.
so as adults, we should be equipped to cope with our own stuff so that we can then manage and support
Yeah.
children who are unable to cope.
I think it's about being an emotionally available adult, that you have to have an awareness of yourself, and then you have an awareness of those children, young people you're working with, because absolutely they need support and they need us to be thinking with them, sometimes for them in terms of how they are feeling. Some children are going to need like an interpretation of what's going on, why they are behaving the way they are because they feel a certain way. They need to be walked through that, because the whole thing with behavior is it's a learning journey. That's what we want it to be. We're learning all the time, and children and young people are kind of navigating that world and trying to make sense of the world they find themselves in. And sometimes they don't always make the best choices. Hey,
Sometimes us adults don't make the best choices.
but that's the thing, and it's absolutely, it's not a blame culture, and it's not a blame culture either
I
side.
agree.
We're not saying that children are, at fault. We're saying that collectively we have an opportunity. One of the things we talk about is a cycle of influence.
Hmm.
So experiences will drive emotions, which drive behavior, which drives responses.
Yeah,
And we have a fantastic opportunity as educators in that responses section to change the experiences for children and young people,
yeah,
thus changing their emotions, thus changing their behavior. And the cycle can then improve, improve, improve.
yeah.
And that's what the journey should be like. And that, for me, is why what we deliver is so, so important.
So with Team Teach, you're teaching adults how to be more confident and curious and mindful of themselves. And through that process, they're learning about how children might behave in a certain way because of their experiences in their life. And so is that the extent to Team Teach? Does it stop there with that awareness training, or does it take the next step on? Because for some children, they're really complex little beings, and
Yeah.
even if I smile at them and say good morning and oh, I'm welcome to my classroom and I'm going to differentiate the work and I'm going to access, help you to access the learning, even with all of that teacher, creation and presentation to the children, I'm still going to get unwanted behaviors. So do Team Teach help us to take the next step?
Yeah, I think it's all about, for me, it's all about the fact that we teach to look at individuals and to work out what's going on, to understand them, to understand who they are, to understand um, how they are. That essentially, you use the word curious. I use the word as well, and puzzle solving is one of the things. What do I know about an individual from what I saw yesterday that helps me work with them today, that helps me plan for them tomorrow?
Yeah,
And it's that idea of I need to understand them. So I need to understand what a baseline behavior looks like so that I can then spot triggers when they might be escalating. So when they might be becoming distressed and they need support. So I need to be able to identify those things. And then at the same time, if they start to escalate, what am I going to do to de-escalate? So we teach a whole range of de-escalation skills. How do I do that? And if a child were to get into crisis, how do I keep them safe?
yeah,
Then post-crisis, because crisis can look different for every single child. Post-crisis, how do we do restoration? How do we reflect on what's happened so it's a learning process? We're not just firefighting. And how do we return them in to the routine? There's a whole kind of range of work that we're doing all the time in order to fundamentally allow children to thrive and grow, to understand their behaviors. The goal is, because we're taking children and young people on a journey to be adults, it's about self-regulating your behavior. It's about understanding your own behavior. So we want to be able to do that with children and young people. And so the interactions we have with them, understanding that our interactions are going to have an impact. We're either going to escalate a situation or de-escalate a situation. Words, actions, simple things around de-escalation can be as
I
simple as
agree.
where I stand in the room is going to make a massive difference.
Hmm.
I can show emotional support to a young person just by standing, having a proximity to them. And it's just simple techniques like that that we're teaching.
So when we have a child that dysregulates in the classroom, I loved what you were saying there about planning for the future. One of the questions I am asked continuously is, we have a child, the child is throwing chairs or really upset or running out of the room or biting another student or hitting another student. What can we do in the moment that's going to stop that behavior in the future? And I think that I literally had this conversation yesterday in that in the moment, all you can do is keep them safe. I would think that you would agree. You keep them safe, you keep the environment safe, you keep other children most, obviously safe. Um, but you need to use that to then plan for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so when you've got the most dysregulated children that need to be kept safe, how are Team Teach helping staff in the classroom to keep them safe? So dysregulated child, biting, throwing, trying to run out, trying to climb over the fence, trying to run out into the car park. How are we helping teachers to deal with those keeping safe moments?
I think it's about we teach on a continuum. So it's looking at the needs, and our responses should be based on needs. And it's about doing things that are the least intrusive we can possibly do. We do teach uh, physical techniques where you can simply by your body position guide someone to keep them safe, to be able to guide them with minimal physical touch and move them, because sometimes children are so overwhelmed that they're taking themselves to a place where they're not going to be safe. How do you put those supports in with the least intrusive way possible? And everything we teach is all to do with the biomechanics of the body. So we're teaching things where you're just using the body and the movement of the body to keep someone safe, as opposed to anything that's restrictive in terms of, there are sadly some things which are pain compliant. We don't want to be
Hmm.
teaching that, because you want to be teaching something that feels the most caring it can.
Yeah.
And that's what's most important to us. We talk about maximum care, and
Okay.
but there are moments where, at the example of a child running towards a busy road, and I've called for them to stop and they're not stopping for whatever reason it might be, they're not stopping. Then I need to be able to keep them safe, and to do nothing is not
Keeping them
caring.
safe.
Yeah, well, it's not caring for someone. So, yeah, I think that's what we try and do. But it is based on needs, and we try and put things together based on
Okay.
what we call a training needs analysis. So we do that with every setting to make sure that we're teaching the right things into that setting.
To the
We
right
don't
people at the right time.
we don't just have a box and say, here's a box of training, and we're going to try and squeeze it into who you are. We go, let's design something together so that you get the
Okay.
right thing for the children and young people you're working with.
So what's the shortest amount of training that you do? Do you do 1 hour? Are there online videos people can watch? Does it have to be face to face? What's the shortest? And then what's the longest?
So our level one training is 6 hours, but that
Okay.
can be done in lots of different ways. It can be done through a blended approach. So 3 hours of self-serve learning that an individual can do, and then 3 hours, the next 3 hours can be face to face, or it can be a webinar. So we have ways of working all around the world where we don't physically have to be in the room, but at the same time we do, and settings do say that's what they want. They want
Yeah.
people in the room. So we then can deliver in the room. We can do a 2-day course, which is obviously 12 hours, and then we have a trainer-trainer model where teams can become trainers at different levels, either a 3-day course or a 5-day course, depending on need. And then that allows people to go and train others in their school. That's a really powerful model because it puts people within the school who have a level of knowledge to support the rest of the team on a daily basis, rather than everybody being trained and then someone disappears. That's not what we're into. We're not a training provider, we're a training partner. It's a partnership, and it's an
Okay.
ongoing journey. Hence, we do the trainer-trainer model.
Okay. Then that's awesome. And so you come out to the UAE, you come out to the Middle East?
Yeah, we do. I've got a team out there. They're flying out today, actually, as we
Awesome.
speak. I've got
Awesome. And we're in October now, just so if anybody's watching this in 2 years' time, we're in October
yeah,
2025.
yeah, got a team going out and training 37 schools.
Okay,
Uh,
awesome.
Training, and we go out to conferences as well, so that we can. I'm going out again later this year to speak at a conference in Dubai, because it's really important from my perspective that we're able to talk about the importance of this understanding behavior as
Yeah,
communication,
I agree.
understanding of behaviors going on all the time.
I agree. So if I was to undertake a 3-day course with you, what would I expect from that? Would I be sitting at a table? Would I be listening to someone go on? Are we doing
I love the
activities?
way
What
you
does
said
that?
we've been on this call for a little bit of time. You go, would I listen to someone going on like you, Jonathan? No, so no, it's a very interactive course. So there is elements of within the teaching. It's doing what we call tabletop activities to discover things together. It's discussion groups. There's lots of interactive learning. It's about experiencing it. It's about sometimes putting yourself in a position and thinking, actually, what does it feel like for the child? You know, we do lots of
Agree.
work on personal space and body language. What does that feel like for me as an adult?
Yeah.
And then put that into the context of what it must feel like for a child.
It's
So
one of
yeah,
my favorite activities. You do an activity where you're seated and you're approached from behind without knowledge, and that can be quite scary. And so initiating those emotions really does
yeah,
help you to have confidence with the children. That's
yeah.
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Um, so there is so much to this. We could talk for hours. This is a little teaser. And if you would like to know more information, I have previously been Team Teach trained. I don't currently have my certificate, but we might have to rectify
Let's call
that.
that now.
But I have used positive handling for many years of my career. I think it's a vital tool that everyone should be trained in, even if you don't have children exhibiting those presentations at the moment, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Or what children tomorrow might bring you. So I do think having an awareness, having that basic introduction, knowing when, as a professional, you need to step out and ask for additional support for a child in order to keep you, your class, and those children safe. So feel free to have a conversation with me. Feel free to have a look at more information on my website, which is louisedawson.com/teamteach. Team Teach have their own website, which is teamteach.com, and you can reach out to the team or to Jonathan directly. They're on all the social media channels, so feel free to get in touch, find out more, no obligation, have a chat, see if this works into your strategy for your school. Thank you so much for your time, Jonathan. Really appreciate you giving up your time to come on here and speak with us. And we wish you all very well for the rest of this year and for the rest of the years to come. Take care. Speak soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Louise. Bye now.
Bye bye. There we go. That was painless, wasn't it?
Good. Great work. Thank you.
All right. No worries at all. We'll get that in.